Hello, this is Everything College back again. Today we're going to be showing you a project of mine from my computer methods class called HEART. It is a heart rate monitor using LabVIEW, or Laboratory Virtual Instrument Engineering Workbench. This was a project me and my partner did, had some real life application. Basically, we took in a signal from using a data acquisition assistant, and we cleaned it up and got our heart rate out of it. Let's get into it. So I needed two things for this. First thing is a sensor. Second thing here, an LED. Sensor has a light detector on it, and an LED is a light source, so that helps. Have this side connected to ground. This is my signal output going into my DAC board here, which I think we should turn on. So basically how this works, let's turn this LED on. LED, so light shines through finger, blood picks it up, your blood's going to absorb that light, and sensor is going to sense these changes and output a voltage signal. First thing here, while loop. Then let's get our DAC assistant up and running. Let's go ahead, analog input. My channel is AI0. Set our range from 5 to -5. I'm on N samples. Let's go to one sample on demand here. That's going to build my DAC now. This is where my signal is going to be coming from. So from this, I'm actually going to pull up my converting from this dynamic data to what I'm going to get from it is actually a double, but we need to make sure we're in single scalar here. What I'm going to be doing here is actually point by point. Me and my partner thought this would just be simplest. Let's get a chart. This way we can see what we're dealing with right off the hop. Call this original. So, later on we can compare it, see how we're doing. And don't forget to wire in your while loop here to some sort of button, some sort of boolean to stop it, or else LabVIEW will be upset with you. Make it look a little nicer here. And let's run it, see what we're dealing with. Kind of a messy signal here, as you can see. Those are heartbeats there in my finger, those bumps. So the question is, how can we clean this up, make it look nice, and then maybe get a timing on it so that we can convert that to BPM. So the first thing we're going to do is actually clean this up. Let's get a Butterworth filter. We're going to make sure we grab the point by point one. There are different kinds. Make sure you grab the point by point if you're doing it the same way I am. Bandpass, so we can get rid of both low and high frequencies. Get a nice cutoff point. Don't do what I did here, and that would be make it messy wires, is what I'll say. There we go. So first thing here, sampling frequency. We went with 30, it was what basically our while loop was running at, so it's 30 samples per second. I'm going to get these vertical slide bars going here. These are going to be my high and low cutoff points. The slide bars basically just make it easier to adjust, see where your best signal's at. I found my best signal somewhere between 8 and 10 for the high and 0 and 2 for the low. So somewhere in there ought to be fine. You can always play around with it. That's why I like these little vertical slide bars. So now let's get a graph. Let's see what our signal looks like now. It's always good just to keep seeing what's going on so you know how you can fix whatever's happening. And I'm actually going to put an initialize button in here. And what that's going to do is reset my signal as I change my cutoff points if I choose to on my filter. This will be very useful if you're kind of trying to play around, find that sweet spot for high and low cutoff to get your best signal going. So plug this into waveform chart. We can then run it if LabVIEW will let me, and we can see maybe it gets a little cleaner. See, now we're actually writing at 0. We've got rid of some of that offset. As you can see, the graph above is writing at like 2.67. Signal looks a little nicer. We're getting those peaks and smaller valleys. And so from there, it's actually going to be a lot easier for us to get a timing on it, because this next portion is we're going to grab a peak detection. Again, point by point. From here, we can plug our signal in. Threshold peak is basically the point to which your pulse is coming up to in volts on your graph. Mine was hitting about 0.02. Your width is basically going to give you a true or false within that amount of samples. So we are going to wire this into a case structure now. This is how I'm going to get my BPM. I'm going to see how many peaks I get using the peak detection in a certain amount of time. So let's set up this timing. We're going to bring our time in. We're going to keep real time outside the while loop. Bring it in. We're going to shift register it. But we also need to keep time for when we do hit a peak. So we're going to wire in our peak detection. For the true case here, I actually put in a beep. I thought that was kind of fun. You know, you see the peak on the monitor, you hear the beep. It's kind of like that classic hospital vibe. So actually all these timing sequences are in milliseconds. So if you see me converting things with 1,000, that's just me changing it from milliseconds to seconds. So now let's get the timing going on the inside. So we're going to keep time if I hit a peak. And how are we going to get our delta t, or basically our period between peaks? And once you have your period, you get your frequency. You get your frequency, you can get your frequency per minutes, and that's going to be your BPM. So let's subtract our peak time from our real time. This is going to be our delta t, our dt. We're going to divide by 1,000. We're going to get these milliseconds into seconds. Then from there, it's just simple conversion stuff. So now let's take the reciprocal, because f equals 1 over t, right? That's just a equation for frequency. Frequency equals 1 over period. We're going to multiply by 60 because there are 60 seconds in a minute, and we want BPM, beats per minute. Let's extend this out, make it look nice. So then from there, let's go ahead and convert this into an integer, because we don't really want our BPM to be coming out as a double. It doesn't really look very nice. We just want that nice solid number. So we're going to round here to double, or to an integer from a double. Get a little constant here, or sorry. Make this look nice. This is going to be our BPM. This is going to be our indicator of BPM of what we're getting out. Make it a little bigger so you can see it. Looking for it, there it is, found it. We're going to put this outside the case structure, and we're going to wire that through to it. We're going to shift register in our true case. Perfect, looks great. Now I believe we have to deal with false case, and something's wrong. It doesn't like something. Missing wire. Yep, false. We got to go false now. Make sure our false is good. So if false, just send the time through. But we're going to do something tricky here. We're going to use a little feedback. So if false, our BPM will not change. We're just going to make it feedback onto itself. So here we go. Let's test it out, see how we're doing. not great. You got to let it set a little bit before we can actually get our data. It might be a little messy off the start. Gets a little bad when you're moving your finger around on it. As you can see, I'm getting weird numbers, but here we go. I kind of start to settle in here, get my peak detection. I'm running about 50-60 beats per minute, which is not bad at all. I was resting, chilling, doing this in my free time. It was fun to do, good time doing it, and yeah, so thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope you learned something here that you can maybe do this as your own project. But yeah, thank you. This is a heart rate monitor using LabVIEW, getting your BPM.